You are not a realist. In today's video, we're exploring the fascinating world of realism. But buckle up, because we're about to uncover why no one is actually a realist. Let's start with the basics. Realism is a philosophical stance asserting that things exist objectively, independent of our perception. Think of it like this. There's a world out there, and it exists whether or not we're here to perceive it. Some of history's great philosophers like Plato and Aristotle championed this idea. They argued for the existence of universal truths and forms, independent of human experience. However, realism encountered a formidable opponent in the form of Immanuel Kant, whose groundbreaking work challenged the very foundation of objective reality. Kant's magnum opus, Critique of Pure Reason, shook the philosophical world by questioning the possibility of knowing things as they truly are. He argued that our perception of reality is not a direct reflection of the external world, but rather it's shaped by the cognitive structures of our minds. Kant introduced the concept of the noumenal and phenomenal worlds. The noumenal world represents things as they are in themselves, independent of human perception. However, Kant posited that we can never directly access the noumenal realm. Instead, our experience of reality is filtered through the phenomenal world, which is structured by our mental faculties, such as space, time, and causality. This distinction challenges the realist assumption that there exists an objective reality independent of our perception. In essence, Kant's critique suggests that our understanding of reality is unavoidably shaped by the very nature of our cognitive apparatus, blurring the line between what is objectively out there and how we perceive it. As realism faced scrutiny, alternative perspectives emerged, challenging the notion of objective truth. Among these, constructivism and anti-realism offered compelling critiques. Ludwig Wittgenstein, a towering figure in 20th century philosophy, introduced the concept of language games in his work Philosophical Investigations. Wittgenstein argued that language doesn't merely reflect reality. Rather, it constructs reality through the various games we play with language and social conventions. According to Wittgenstein, words gain meaning through their use within specific linguistic communities, shaping our understanding of reality in diverse ways. This challenges the realist assumption that there exists a fixed, objective reality waiting to be discovered. Furthermore, the rise of postmodernism in the late 20th century further destabilized the notion of objective truth. Postmodern thinkers such as Jean-François Lyotard and Michel Foucault argued that truth is not universal, but rather contingent upon historical, cultural, and social contexts. They emphasized the fragmented nature of reality and the plurality of perspectives, undermining the idea of a single, objective truth. In essence, constructivism and anti-realism challenge the assumption that reality exists independently of our perceptions, suggesting instead that it is constructed through language, social practices, and historical contingencies. Upon closer examination of these philosophical concepts, it becomes evident that merely attributing the label of realistic to ourselves often reveals a paradoxical truth. True realism transcends the simplistic assertion of objective truths, as it involves a deep understanding of the complexities inherent in human perception and the construction of reality. In essence, claiming to be a realist can sometimes signify a rigid adherence to a narrow view of reality, ignoring the nuanced interplay between subjective experiences and the external world. However, recognizing that our perceptions are inherently shaped by cognitive biases, linguistic frameworks, and socio-cultural influences allows us to move beyond the illusion of realism. Embracing the notion that we aren't inherently realists opens the door to a more authentic engagement with reality. It invites us to question our assumptions, challenge our preconceptions, and remain open to alternative perspectives. Ultimately, it's this humility and openness to the complexities of perception that brings us closer to embodying a truly realistic outlook. It's not about claiming to have all the answers or possessing an unwavering certainty in our perceptions, but rather about embracing the uncertainty and ambiguity that characterize the human experience. In acknowledging our limitations, we paradoxically pave the way for a more genuine and nuanced understanding of reality.